"If you loved me, you would help me through this pregnancy," she said, while demanding me to send money week after week. I almost lost my career trying to be a good man until someone exposed what she was really doing with my support. I am Cole, 28M software engineer in Austin, about to relocate to Seattle for a senior position I have been working toward for 3 years. I am usually pretty level-headed about things, but right now I feel like I am losing my damn mind and need some outside perspective. I was dating Sibling, 26F, for about 4 months. She works as an admin assistant at a local marketing firm. Things seemed normal. We would grab dinner. She would come over to watch Netflix. Typical relationship stuff. Nothing too serious, but comfortable, you know. She knew from early on that I was interviewing for positions in other cities because that is where the real opportunities are in tech. 3 weeks ago, I got the call. Dream job in Seattle. Significant pay bump. Everything I had been working for. I was pumped and told her that night over dinner at this little Italian place we both liked. Her face just dropped. She got quiet, picked at her food, then said she was happy for me but needed time to process everything. I figured that was normal. 4 months isn't long enough to expect someone to follow you across the country, and I wasn't about to ask. We had fun, but this was my career we are talking about. I told her I understood, and that we could figure things out. That was a Tuesday. The following Monday, I am at work debugging some API issues when I get this text from her. "We need to talk. I am late, and I think I might be pregnant." My stomach dropped through the floor. I stared at my monitor for like 10 minutes trying to process what that meant. I called her immediately, but it went to voicemail. She texted back saying she was at work but could meet after 6. We met at a coffee shop near her office. She looked stressed, kept fidgeting with her phone case. She told me she was 3 days late, which never happens, and that she was scared. My first reaction was to ask if she had taken a test. She said she wanted to wait a few more days to be sure, but that she was pretty certain about what was happening. I am not going to lie. My mind went straight to logistics. If she was pregnant, what did that mean for Seattle? For my career? But I also felt this immediate sense of responsibility. I told her that whatever was happening, I would figure it out. I would support her and we would handle it together. She started crying and said she was worried I had just disappeared to Seattle and leave her to deal with everything alone. I promised her I wouldn't do that. I said we would figure out the timing. Maybe I could defer the start date. Whatever it took. Then she mentioned needing to see a doctor, but that her insurance situation was complicated. She had recently switched jobs and there was some gap in coverage. She asked if I could help with the appointment cost, around $300 for the initial consultation and blood work. I didn't even hesitate. I Venmo'd her the money right there at the coffee shop. She hugged me and said she would let me know what the doctor said. That was last week. Here is where things start feeling off. She texted me Wednesday saying the appointment went well and that she was definitely pregnant, but that she needed to go back for more tests. Another $250 I sent it. Then Friday, she needed money for prescription prenatal vitamins that weren't covered. $80. I sent that too. My buddy Marcus, who I have known since college, thinks I am being played. He works in marketing at the same company as Sibling. Different department but same building. He mentioned he hasn't seen any obvious signs of pregnancy. No morning sickness. No dietary changes. Nothing. But I told him it is early and everyone's different. The thing that is bugging me is that she will not let me come to any appointments. She says she is not ready for that level of involvement yet and needs to process things on her own first. I get that. But something feels weird about it. When I suggested we could at least grab lunch near the doctor's office, she said the appointments were during her lunch break, and she needed to get right back to work. I have been researching pregnancy timelines online and everything lines up date-wise. If she got pregnant right around when I got the job offer, the timing makes sense. But I keep having this nagging feeling that something's not right. My work has been pushing for a start date, and I have already delayed twice telling them I am dealing with a personal situation. My manager is starting to get annoyed, and I am worried they might rescind the offer if I keep stalling. Part of me wants to ask for proof, like to see the test results or come to an appointment. But that feels like I am calling her a liar. If she really is pregnant, and I am questioning her about it, that makes me a massive asshole. But if something's fishy, I am making decisions about my entire future based on false information. I haven't slept well in a week. I keep running scenarios in my head about what life would look like if I stayed in Austin, what it would mean for my career, how we would make co-parenting work. Then other times I wonder if my gut instinct is right and I am being manipulated. Reddit. Am I losing my mind here? Is it normal to feel this uncertain when your ex claims to be carrying your kid? Should I be asking for proof, or does that make me a terrible person? I have never been in a situation like this, and I am honestly freaking out. But what happened when I finally worked up the courage to ask for proof changed everything I thought I knew about who Sable really was. Update 1. Sorry for the late update. Had to help my buddy Marcus move apartments over the weekend, and just got my laptop back from repair. The screen cracked when I dropped it during one of my stress-induced insomnia sessions. Holy shit. You guys weren't kidding when you said this situation sounded fishy. I wish I had listened to my gut from the beginning, but here we are 3 months later and I am questioning my sanity. First, to answer the common questions from my DMs. No. I still haven't seen any medical documentation. No. I haven't been to a single appointment. And no. I haven't moved to Seattle yet. I have delayed my start date 3 times now and my new manager is getting seriously pissed. Since my last post, things have taken on a pattern that's been slowly draining me financially and emotionally. Every 2 weeks, almost like clockwork, Sable reaches out saying she needs money for something related to the pregnancy. At first I didn't think much of it. It started with the usual appointments she told me about, but since then, it's only escalated. Around week 6, she said she needed an emergency ultrasound because of some concerning symptoms. It cost $400, and I didn't hesitate for a second. I was terrified something might be wrong with the baby. So I sent the money right away. 2 weeks later came the next message this time. It was for special blood work. She claimed insurance wouldn't cover it until later, but that it had to be done early because of her family's medical history. That one was $350. I remember thinking it sounded a little odd, but she spoke with such urgency that I didn't question it. By week 10, she needed $200 for a prescription to help with morning sickness. She said it was the only medication that worked. I hesitated a little, especially after Marcus mentioned he'd never seen her looking ill at work, but I told myself every pregnancy was different, and transferred the money anyway. Then came week 12, another ultrasound. This time at a specialist's office, because, according to her, the first doctor wanted a second opinion. That one set me back $450. She even sent me a blurry photo that was supposedly from the scan, though honestly, it could have been anyone else. Not long after, she said she needed maternity clothes since nothing fits anymore. That was another $300. It felt early for that, but I didn't know much about women's clothing or pregnancy timelines, so I let it slide. By week 16, she claimed her nutritionist had recommended upgraded prenatal vitamins and supplements, another $180 gone. That's when I finally started keeping a mental tally, realizing just how much I'd already spent, and how easily the requests kept coming. The pattern was clear now. Every couple of weeks, there'd be a new expense, a new reason, and another withdrawal from my account. We are now at week 18, and the total is somewhere around $2,500. That is not including the dinners I have paid for when we meet up to discuss pregnancy stuff, or the groceries I have bought when she mentioned being tight on money for healthy food. The weirdest part, I still haven't seen any physical signs of pregnancy. We only meet up every couple weeks now, and she always wears loose clothing. When I mentioned that she doesn't look different, she said she is barely showing, and that first pregnancies are often like that. Marcus has been getting more vocal about his suspicions. He sees her daily at work and swears she is not acting pregnant. No morning sickness, no bathroom breaks, no dietary changes. She even went to the company happy hour last month, though she claimed she just got a virgin mojito last week. I finally asked if I could come to an appointment. Her response was immediate and harsh. You are being controlling, and I don't need that stress right now. The doctor said stress is bad for the baby. That hit me wrong. I have been nothing but supportive and financially generous. Wanting to be involved in medical appointments for my own potential child isn't controlling. It is normal, right? I started pushing back more when she asked for money for a pregnancy massage that her doctor supposedly recommended. I said I needed to see some kind of documentation first. Medical bills, appointment summaries, anything. She freaked out, called me in tears saying I was abandoning her when she needed me most, that she couldn't believe I would question her about something this serious. She said if I didn't trust her, maybe we shouldn't be doing this together at all. That scared the shit out of me. If she really is pregnant with my kid and I am being an asshole about money, I am going to regret this forever. So I apologized and sent the $150 for the massage. But something Marcus said is stuck in my head. He pointed out that in 18 weeks, she has never once asked me to pick up prenatal vitamins from the pharmacy. Never asked me to come to a grocery store to help pick out pregnancy-safe foods. Never asked for help carrying anything, because it is too heavy. All her requests are just cash transfers. My sleep is completely fucked. I am working from home most days because I cannot concentrate in the office. I have lost about 15 pounds because I keep forgetting to eat. My Seattle job is hanging by a thread. They have already hired someone else for the original start date and are keeping the position open as a favor, but that will not last much longer. The thing that really gets me is that I cannot figure out her endgame. If she is lying about being pregnant, what happens in a few months when there is no baby? Does she fake a miscarriage? Keep the charade going for 9 months. It seems like such an elaborate lie to maintain. But if she is pregnant and I am just being paranoid because I am stressed about my career and the timing of everything, then I am the worst person alive. I have been too embarrassed to tell anyone else about this. My parents think I am just taking my time with the move, and my other friends don't even know about Sable being pregnant. Only Marcus knows the whole story, and he is convinced I am being scammed. Yesterday, she texted asking for $300 for routine blood work that needs to be done at week 20. I haven't responded yet. Part of me wants to just call her bluff and say no, but part of me is terrified of what that might mean if this is all real. I know what you are all going to say. Demand proof. Go to an appointment. Stop sending money. But what if I am wrong? What if I am just stressed and paranoid, and I am about to torpedo my relationship with the mother of my child over money? The worst part is that I used to be confident in my decision-making. I built my career by trusting my instincts and taking calculated risks. Now I second-guess everything. I cannot tell if my gut feeling is intuition or just anxiety. Marcus offered to do some digging at work, but I told him not to. If Sable found out I was having her coworker investigate her pregnancy, that would be relationship nuclear war. But honestly, I am starting to think that might be inevitable anyway. How do you even recover from this level of distrust? If she is pregnant, we are going to have to co-parent for the next 18 years, and I am already questioning everything she tells me. If she is not pregnant, then I have been financially manipulated by someone I trusted, and I am an idiot. Then Marcus came to me with information that made my blood run cold and changed everything about how this story was going to end. Update 2: been dealing with my internet being down since yesterday. Apartment complex had some maintenance issue that fried the whole building's Wi-Fi. Finally got it sorted, and Jesus Christ. Do I have an update for you guys? Remember how I said Marcus offered to do some digging but I told him not to? Well, turns out he decided to keep his eyes open anyway. And what he discovered led to the most insane confrontation I have ever witnessed. Before I get into what happened, I need to give you some background on Marcus that explains why he went as hard as he did. We have been friends since sophomore year of college, when I was struggling financially. My parents couldn't help much, and I was working 2 part-time jobs just to afford ramen and textbooks. Marcus was in the same boat, but he had it worse. His mom was sick and he was sending money home whenever he could. I used my financial aid refund one semester to help him stay in school when he couldn't make tuition. It wasn't a loan. I just did it because that is what you do for your boys. He has never forgotten that. And he is the kind of guy who would literally fight someone for disrespecting me. We have that ride or die friendship that you don't find often. So when Marcus told me Tuesday morning that he had been casually observing Sable at work and was convinced something was up, I knew he wasn't just stirring shit. He said in the 4 months since she has supposedly been pregnant, he has never seen her refuse coffee, never seen her rush to the bathroom, never seen her eat the bland foods that pregnant women supposedly crave. More suspicious. Last Friday during their office lunch hour, He saw her in the break room laughing with some other admin girls about this dude who keeps sending me money for random shit. When one of them asked what she meant, she said something about playing the pregnancy card and how men are so gullible when they think they got you knocked up. Marcus didn't want to tell me this part initially because he knew it would crush me, but he said she specifically mentioned having at least another month or two before she'd need to figure out the exit strategy. I felt like I was going to throw up. All those nights I had lost sleep, all the career anxiety, all the money, and she was literally laughing about it with her coworkers. I started pacing around my apartment like a caged animal. Marcus could see I was about to lose it and told me he had a plan. "Tomorrow, I am going to end this," he said. "But you need to trust me and not ask questions about how." Wednesday morning, Marcus texted me to call in sick to work and wait for his call. I was nervous as hell, but I trusted him. Around 1:30 p.m., my phone rang. "It is over, bro. She is not pregnant. I have proof, and she knows I have proof. Here is what happened." And I still cannot believe Marcus had the balls to pull this off. He waited until lunch break when most people clear out of the office. He knew Sable usually stayed behind to eat at her desk and scroll her phone. Marcus walked over to her cubicle carrying a small paper bag and wearing his most serious expression. "Sable, we need to talk." Right now, she looked confused, but followed him toward the bathroom area where it is more private. Marcus said his tone was so serious that she probably thought someone had died. "I know what you have been doing to Cole," he told her, "the pregnancy thing. I know it is bullshit." She immediately got defensive, said she didn't know what he was talking about, asked why he was confronting her about her personal business. Marcus said she was a good actress, but he could see the panic in her eyes. That is when he pulled out the paper bag and removed a pregnancy test still in its packaging. "Take this test right now, or I am calling Cole and telling him everything I overheard you saying in the break room last Friday." Sable went pale. She tried to deny saying anything, tried to claim Marcus was making it up, but he started reciting specific details from her conversation. The pregnancy card comment, the exit strategy timeline, even mentioned that she had called me gullible. "You have two choices," Marcus told her. "Take this test right now and prove you are pregnant, or admit you have been scamming my friend and figure out how you are going to make this right." She stared at the pregnancy test for a long time. Marcus said he could literally see her trying to calculate whether there was any way to get out of this situation. Finally, she started crying. "It wasn't supposed to go on this long," she said. "I just panicked when he said he was moving. I thought if I could buy some time, maybe he had changed his mind about Seattle." Marcus didn't let up. "How much money has he sent you?" She estimated around $2,800 over the past 4 months. Marcus told her that was theft by deception and that she needed to figure out how to pay it back. She said she had already spent most of it and couldn't afford to pay it back all at once. The conversation got heated. She started crying harder, saying she never meant for it to go so far, that she was scared of being alone and made a stupid mistake. Marcus said he felt zero sympathy for her crocodile tears. "You have been torturing my friend for months. He has lost sleep, lost weight, almost lost a dream job because of your lies. You don't get to play victim now." By this point, a few other employees had noticed the commotion near the bathrooms. Sable realized she was about to have this conversation in front of her coworkers and asked if they could go somewhere more private. Marcus said no. "You wanted to laugh about scamming him with your work friends? Now they can hear about what kind of person you really are." That is when she completely broke down and admitted everything. 4 months of lies, fake medical appointments, non-existent doctor visits, made-up test results. She had been using the money for regular expenses, rent, car payment, credit card bills. One of the other employees who had been listening was apparently her supervisor. By the end of the day, Sable was fired for creating a hostile work environment and bringing personal drama into the workplace. Marcus called me as soon as it was over. I was simultaneously relieved and furious. Relieved that I wasn't crazy, that my instincts had been right all along. Furious that someone I had trusted had been manipulating me for months. I called Sable that evening. She didn't answer, but she texted me a long message apologizing and saying she would pay me back gradually. I told her I didn't want her money. I just wanted her to never contact me again. The weirdest part is how quickly everything fell into place once the truth came out. I called my Seattle manager the next morning, explained I had been dealing with a family emergency that was now resolved, and he was understanding about getting back on track with the move. I am flying out to Seattle next week to look at apartments. My start date is officially set for 3 weeks from Monday. The relief I feel is indescribable, like I can finally breathe again. Marcus refuses to let me thank him properly. He says that is what friends do, and he would do it again without hesitation, but I know what he risked confronting her like that. If she had been telling the truth, he would have looked like a complete asshole. The thing that bothers me most isn't the money. It is how good she was at manipulating me, how she knew exactly which buttons to push to make me feel guilty and responsible. I pride myself on being logical and analytical, but she played me like a fiddle. I have learned a lot about myself through this experience, and not all of it is flattering. I am apparently terrible at trusting my instincts when emotions are involved. I also learned that having a friend who will go to war for you is worth more than any amount of money. A few people have asked in my DMs what happens next with Sable. Honestly, I just want to move on. She is facing consequences at work and in her personal life. Word spreads fast in Austin's professional circles, and what she did is going to follow her for a while. But there was one more twist to this story that I didn't discover until after I had already moved to Seattle. Final update: cannot sleep, because it is raining hard in Seattle, and my upstairs neighbor is apparently moving furniture at 2 a.m. So figured I would give you guys the final chapter of this insane story. It has been exactly 1 year since Marcus exposed Sable's pregnancy scam, and my life is completely different now. I am writing this from my downtown Seattle apartment with a view of Elliott Bay, working at a job I genuinely love, and dating someone who actually respects me. First, the career stuff. The move to Seattle was the best decision I ever made. The senior engineer position turned into a lead role within 6 months, and I just got promoted again to principal engineer. My salary has nearly doubled from where I was in Austin. The team here is incredible. The projects are challenging, and I finally feel like I am working at the level I am capable of. More importantly, I learned to trust my instincts again. That experience with Sable taught me that my gut feelings are usually right, even when emotions are clouding my judgment. I have become much better at setting boundaries and not letting guilt drive my decisions. Marcus visited me for a long weekend last month. I paid for everything: flight, hotel, every meal and drink, as a small way of saying thank you for saving my life. He kept joking that I was trying too hard, but he deserved it. That weekend reminded me why our friendship has lasted so long. He is the same loyal, no bullshit guy who had my back in college and continues to have it now. We talked about the Sable situation over beers at Pike Place Market. Marcus admitted he had been watching her behavior for weeks before he finally heard her bragging about the scam. He said the hardest part was seeing me deteriorate mentally while knowing I wouldn't listen to his suspicions without concrete proof. I had to catch her red-handed, he said. You are too good of a person to believe someone would lie about something that's serious without absolute evidence. He was right. Even now, I sometimes wonder if I would have figured it out on my own, or if I would have kept sending money indefinitely. The psychological manipulation was that effective. As for Sable, I found out through mutual connections that her life pretty much imploded after the truth came out. She was unemployed for several months because word spread through Austin's marketing community about what she had done. When she finally found another job, it was at a significant pay cut and in a different industry. I heard she tried to contact some of my other friends to get my side of the story, but they all shut her down. The fake pregnancy thing apparently wasn't her first time manipulating boyfriends for money, just the most elaborate scheme she had attempted. A few months ago, she sent me a Facebook message, apologizing again, and saying she had grown as a person since then. I didn't respond. Some people deserve second chances, but manipulating someone with fake pregnancy crosses a line that cannot be uncrossed. The money she stole never got paid back, and I don't expect it ever will. But honestly, $2,800 was a small price to pay for learning who she really was before things got more serious. If we had moved in together or gotten engaged, the financial and emotional damage could have been exponentially worse. Looking back, there were red flags I ignored, because I wanted to be supportive and responsible. The way she refused to let me be involved in any medical appointments. How every pregnancy expense was exactly the amount that would be painful but not devastating. How she escalated emotionally whenever I asked reasonable questions. I have shared parts of this story with other friends here in Seattle, and it is amazing how many guys have similar experiences with financial manipulation in relationships. Maybe not fake pregnancies, but invented emergencies, exaggerated financial hardships, or pressure to pay for things that don't quite add up. The common thread seems to be that decent guys want to be supportive and helpful, and manipulative people learn to exploit that generosity. The solution isn't to become cynical or stop being generous. It is to learn the difference between supporting someone and being used by someone. These days, my stress levels are normal. I sleep through the night, and I have gained back the weight I lost during those 4 months of hell. I have hobbies again, friends I actually enjoy spending time with, and a career trajectory that excites me. Rain's finally stopped and I am getting tired. Seattle's been good to me, and I am exactly where I am supposed to be.